All right, we're about 5 minutes out, so if you guys want to start settling down, if you need to use the restroom, go ahead. We do have still a few more minutes to accept a blue card for speaking at public comment. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. We're going to start about 6 o'clock here, so if you do want to speak, fill out a blue card and give it to Karen within the next couple minutes before we start, and we'll be on with it. Thank you. Yeah, if you got the blue cards, bring them up to Karen here, and then we're gonna give you probably 2 more minutes for the blue cards, and then that's gonna be it. All right, we got 6 o'clock here, and very good. So we're going to close out the time period for submitting blue cards. We're going to get started here. We're going to get started with the invocation. Did you have somebody?
Yeah, I would like to invite up Carrie Alderson with Edgewater Christian Fellowship.
All right, Carrie's going to come to the podium and lead us in invocation. Thank you.
Thank you. Father God, we thank you that not only are you Yahweh, Creator God, who is just and righteous, but you are also good and generous and loving and kind and merciful. We thank you in Micah 6 that you tell us what is good, justice and mercy and kindness and humility. And in matters of civics and ordinances and policies, we lift up elected and appointed officials and pray that they would have wisdom and humility and how to balance justice and mercy and kindness and make decisions that are honoring in those areas and that would be right decisions that lead to right, healthy living for our community. Pray for the people of our community that would live that way as well, whether they're in elected officials or appointed positions or not, that they too would also live lives that are just and also merciful. And we pray against some of the evils that we see in Southern Oregon, the thousands of children across Southern Oregon that suffer from child abuse. We pray against those things. We pray against addiction that has torn apart families and broken homes and been a plague in our communities. We pray against those things. We pray ultimately that the people in Southern Oregon would be those that desire to live right, that desire to live healthy. I pray that our community would be one that supports healthy families and healthy lifestyles and healthy living, and that we would be a thriving community that would live rightly and that would honor each other and that would honor you and again live justly and mercifully and humbly. And pray your blessing on this evening, and we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
All right, please stand and remove your covers for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're going to go through roll call. Looks like Rob is not here, but I believe he's on his way. Joel? Here. Rick? Here. Indra?
Here.
Kathleen?
Here.
Eric?
Here.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seth?
Here.
Victoria, sorry.
Here.
I got thrown off with a happy birthday, I apologize. And Clint, I'm here. Thank you. So we're going to start with the public hearing. At this time, I will open the public hearing to consider the application as filed. The application for ordinance vacating the common property lines between tax lot 1100, 1200, and 1300 of map number 35-5-19-DA. We will begin the hearing with a staff report followed by a presentation by the applicant. I believe it's just going to be a staff report. Statements by persons in favor of the application, statements by persons opposing the application, and an opportunity for additional comments by applicant and staff. After that has occurred, the public comments portion will be closed and the matter will be discussed and acted upon by the council. Is there anyone present who wishes to challenge the authority of the council to hear this matter? Seeing none, do any councilors wish to abstain from participating in this hearing or declare a potential conflict of interest? Seeing none, are there any councilors who wish to disclose discussion, contacts, or other ex parte information they have received prior to this meeting regarding this application? Seeing none, in this hearing, the decision of the council will be based upon specific criteria which are set forth in the development code. All testimony which applies in this case are not noted in the staff are noted in the staff report. If you would like a copy of this report, please write a note to the city manager and one will be provided. It is important to remember if you fail to raise an issue with enough detail to afford the council and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue, you will not be able to appeal to the Land Use Board appeals based on that issue. The hearing will now proceed with a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. This is another property line vacation that's coming before the council. This one happens to be off Rogue River Highway, which is the location of the former Herb restaurant. So they are specifically requesting the removal of 2 property lines. There's 3 properties involved as shown there on the screen, lots 1100, 1200, and 1300 of map 360519DA. It's general commercial zoning, and they are seeking to consolidate those 3 parcels into one single building lot. And it relates to your council goal to facilitate sustainable and manageable growth. So again, here's Rogue River Highway, and then all 3 lots front on Rogue River Highway. These tax lots have been there for many years. The building, as you can see in this slide, comes very, very close to the property line on the west side, and the property line actually goes through a portion of the building on the east side. So they are looking to do some development out there, and including the extension of some utility lines out to this eastern parcel over near Burger King. Because of that, that lot line in particular needs to be removed, but both of them really do, for them to proceed with any further development. So there are 2 criterion for these approvals. Both of these have been reviewed by staff, and we found that they can be met. We did mail out comments, or notices, I'm sorry, but we did not receive any public comments on this. There's no real cost implication to the city. Call to action is June 14th with the recommendation of tonight. And there's a recommended motion on the bottom of the screen there for you.
Thank you, Brad. Do we have an applicant that would like to speak at this time or not?
I know they were notified, but I don't know if anybody was going to come. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, then we'll move on. Council have any questions particularly for staff?
Thank you.
Seeing none? At this point, we'll open to public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this application? Please stand now and come to the podium. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak in opposition of this application? Please stand and come to the podium. All right, seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for any further discussion or action. Joel?
Unless there's somebody that really would like to discuss it, I'm going to move to approve the ordinance vacating the property lines between tax lots 1100, 1200, and 1300 of map number 36-05-19-DA, first reading.
All right, we have a motion on the table with the second from Victoria. Any further discussion? All right, go through a roll call vote. Joel?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
Passes unanimously for first reading.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Grants Pass vacating the common property lines between tax lots 1100, 1200, and 1300 of map number 360519DA.
All right, first reading was read. Bring it back to council for discussion or further action. Looking for a motion for second reading. Rick?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance vacating property lines between tax lots 1100, 1200, and 1300 of map number 36-5-19 DA, second reading, title only.
Thank you, Rick. We got a second by Eric. Any further discussion? All right, motion on the table for second reading with a second. Go into roll call vote. Victoria?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Sorry, Rob's not here. Joel?
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimously passes for second reading.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Grants Pass vacating the common property lines between tax lots 1100, 1200, and 1300 of map number 36519DA.
Thank you. All right, we're going to proceed on to council actions. We had 2 items listed for tonight. Item A, ordinance creating Grants Pass Municipal Code, Chapter 5.8, regulatory of humanity service events on publicly owned property. That will be postponed to a later date. We have to do a little bit more with that, so that is taken off of our agenda, and we will proceed with Aaron giving a presentation on item B.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, Council, members of the public. That's not correct. At least I have it. I'm trying to switch it. Yeah. Display settings. Okay, before you is a resolution that will approve application granting real property and personal property taxation exemption for the Oregon Horse Racing Association. In February, they asked the Josephine County assessors to request the city's governing body to do a tax exemption. This would be done through the city. Before, it was done through the county, but the county recognized that the city is the one that ultimately has the authority, as it is within the city limits for this particular piece. ORS 307115 provides for the tax exemption, which they have received for the past 30 years. The assessor forwarded this with the city's, requesting the city's input on whether or not we're going to do that. The information's in your packet. Call to action is today's date. This is at council's discretion. They did meet all of the requirements for being tax exempt. They are a nonprofit, and they're requesting the tax exemption status again. And like I mentioned, they've had it historically for about 30 years.
Perfect. Thank you, Aaron. Bring it to council. Do you guys have any questions? Rick and then Kathleen.
Thank you, Aaron. I believe in the packet it said it's a parking lot. Do we know the size and any other information on what the property actually consists of?
Looking at the property itself, that's tax exempt, that they're tax exempting. It is a property where the horse racing occurs. Parking is part of it. The stadium is part of it. The track is part of it. And so they're asking for the tax exemption status for the property that SOHRA provides that service for. And they only do it certain times of the year.
Okay, so it would not include the soccer fields then?
No, that's different, and that's a different nonprofit that probably also may get nonprofit. It might have nonprofit status also, but that would be another nonprofit that operates the soccer field. This is just for the operations of the horse racing.
Okay, and is it because they're a nonprofit, of course, then they're asking for relief from the taxes?
That is correct.
Is it typical for horse race tracks for organizations to be nonprofit?
Well, I'm not familiar with a lot of horse tracks in the state of Oregon besides this one and what is typical or not, but they do comply with being an Oregon nonprofit, and they do comply with ORS in order to ask for this tax exemption.
Okay, thank you.
Kathleen?
So I was just curious, once somebody asks for exemption, how many years does that carry over? Is it from year to year, or is it a extended time?
I'll have Stephanie look into that question. I don't have that on the top of my head, and Stephanie might be able to get that on how many years the tax exemption is.
Perfect. Any other questions? Kath or Victoria? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Forgot that part. It looks like it's a 10-year exemption. It says the exemption shall be granted for a 10-year period and may be renewed by the granting authority for additional periods of 10 years.
Perfect, thank you. Victoria?
Do you know if there is someone here tonight to represent the nonprofit?
I'm not aware of if there is anyone in the audience. Stephanie and I did talk to the nonprofit representative before the meeting just to discuss this application, and they were in favor of council approving it.
Victoria?
I seem to remember a presentation, it must have been at a county commissioner meeting, of the Horse Racing Association, hopefully I just used the right word, just talking about the things that they give back to the community. I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember coming away from that thinking, they really do bring a lot into the community. And I didn't see a lot in the packet about that. And I think that when people see horse racing, they're thinking it's a huge profit organization, but this is a nonprofit. So I guess I would just, I don't know if that's a comment but if you could comment on anything they bring into the community. I just didn't see it in the packet, like how much money they bring in, tourism, things like that, or anything of that nature.
Yeah, the city's not the one that would have that information and be able to provide that to you. That would be the Southern Oregon Horse Racing Association that'd be able to provide that information. They did provide the application providing for the tax exemption.
Thank you. Any further questions, Joel? Sorry, Rick? Then Joel?
So Aaron, is it appropriate to say this does not involve property per se, but the organization status?
No, they're asking for the property that they use and they lease to not have to pay taxes on for their use of that property.
Okay, so that answered my question. They're leasing it. Okay, thank you.
Joel?
So that was my question too. So is this a property tax exemption then? Leasers don't generally pay property tax regardless.
They do lease the property from Josephine County.
Right.
The county owns the property, so which is also a tax exempt entity.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Eric?
It says here that it was discovered that the proper granting authority is the city of Grants Pass. Do we have more info on how it was discovered and why it was discovered?
I think that came from the county. It wasn't us seeking that. The county in the past has been the one that's been exempting that for the past couple of decades. They recognize that the city had the authority to do that, and that's why it's in front of you today. It's why you haven't done it before in the past.
Thank you, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria?
I think that I would love to hear from them so they can tell us more about their organization. I would hate to see them lose out on their tax exempt status, which may make them, I have no idea, I couldn't tell by this, not be able to run the horse races, which is such a great community event. So I don't know if this is the right time, but I would love to table this.
We're in question period right now.
Oh, okay, all right. But that would be my intention, because I would hate to see this not get a fair vote because we didn't understand all the ins and outs, since we haven't done it before.
Yeah, and I think if that's council's intent, then we may need to hold a special meeting in order to get a response back to them in a timely fashion. So we'd probably have to have a special meeting just for that. Or if you feel comfortable approving it tonight, I can always ask for them to submit information with regards to how they provide that benefit to the community. So that would be your call, council.
Looks like Joel has another question.
So I was just wondering, there's a lot of events that occur out there on that property. We've had fireworks out there, the county fair was out there, concerts have been out there. So do Southern Oregon Horse Racing Association then sublease it or rent it out, or what do they do for those other events?
So they're only leasing it for a period of time where the horse races actually occur. It's only like a 2 or 3 month window throughout the year, and the rest of the time it's the counties.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. I'm okay, good.
Any further questions? All right, thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
And as we don't have a representative from them, so we will open it to public comment. Is there anybody from the audience that wants to make a comment or statement in regards to this matter that is on the table at this moment? Seeing none, thank you. We'll bring it back to council for discussion and or motion. Rob?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution granting real and personal property tax exemption to the Southern Oregon Horse Racing Association.
We have a motion on the table with the second from Seth. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second to approve, so we'll go through roll call vote. Victoria?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
No.
Indra?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
All right. Resolution passes. Thank you. Okay. Further on down the list here, we're starting into appointments. So we have appointment to one member to the Bikeways and Walkways Committee. You will have a piece of paper in front of you. It looks like it's yellow. Please make your preference, sign the paper, and pass it down, please. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So Emma Black, 2 people on the council prefer Emma Black, 2 people on the council prefer Graham Hetland, and 3 people on the council prefer Tim Waters. So I'd bring it back to council to have a recommendation to put somebody forth for a motion. Rick?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Tim Waters to the bike.
Okay, we have a motion to appoint Tim Waters to the Bikeways and Walkways Committee. Do we have a second? Second from Rob. Any further discussion? Indra?
Yes, I realize he was recommended by the committee, but I liked Emma Black, and I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know really much about her, but what was on here, but I liked that she managed a professional mountain biking team. She had leadership roles. She coaches children in school as a volunteer at school, and was involved with trail building. So I just thought she had a lot of different experience, and just would like to see someone new involved in the committee. That's why I chose her.
Thank you, Indra. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, we'll go into roll call vote. This is with a motion to appoint Tim Waters to the Bikeways and Walkways Committee. Rob?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Indra?
No.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
All right. Majority picks Tim Waters to be appointed to the Bikeways and Walkways Committee. Second appointment tonight is one member to the Public Safety Advisory Committees. Looks like your paper is salmon colored. Please make your preference and sign the bottom and send it down. And if you need a little extra time, let me know. All right, that was a little bit hard, so we had one candidate, and it looks like everybody has preferred her, so Susan Tokars-Kraus. I'd be bringing it back to council for a motion for appointment. Joel?
I nominate Susan Kraus.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was in my own little conversation.
Yeah,
I
that's
totally
okay.
apologize. I was not ignoring you.
I'll go ahead and nominate Susan Kraus for the Public Safety Advisory Committee.
Thank you, Joel. And we have a second from Rick. So we have a motion on the table to appoint a member to the Public Safety Advisory Committee and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go into a roll call vote. Victoria?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Unanimously. Susan is appointed to the Public Safety Advisory Committee. Thank you very much. Okay, we've come to the part of the meeting for public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to address the City Council on items not related to a public hearing or council action item for this council. The intent is to provide information that is pertinent to the city's jurisdiction. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes. 2 minutes to address the council as one body, not two individuals on the council or staff. The meeting will proceed in an effective and courteous manner. Citizens and council members will be allowed to state their positions in an atmosphere free from slander, threats, and other personal attacks. Signs, placards, outbursts of applause, campaigning for public office, or other disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. If you have a question regarding any government-provided service or a current city policy, please contact the city manager's office and attempt to resolve this matter. I have a number of cards here. We do have one person online, so I'm going to give them preference to go first so we can get that over with. Mike Pelfrey is online. Do we confirm that he's ready? All right, Mike, can you hear me? Hey, Mike, are you there? Mr. Pelfrey. Okay. Hey, Mike, I'm going to go on to the next person, and if you're still available later, we'll let you go. All right, Dale Aldridge? Dale?
Dale Aldridge, City of Grants Pass. I look at this audience and go, wow, a lot of people here. I think we all have the same thing in mind. We want the safety of the city, and it's not safe right now. Crime is going through the roof. I drive Uber at night, and at 2 in the morning, why are 5, 6, 10 people walking up and down the street with backpacks with nothing but black on? Why is the crime in this town going through the roof? We need to do something about it. Set a curfew, do something. These are no-barrier campsites, both of them are. I know you're doing your best, but it ain't good enough for the people that pay their taxes in this town. You know, I know the police are stressed.
If you have a question
We are
regarding
more
any
stressed.
government
I go in every day
provided-
waiting for that day that our window's going to get busted. Like every day going down the street, and who's sleeping in what corners. It's out of control. We're rushing around handing out no trespass orders to businesses just to keep them from sleeping on their property, so that you guys can, as a cop, can go in there and shoo them away. And then we get beat up online because we're hassling the homeless. Why are you doing it? We're a business owner. It doesn't do good business to have somebody sleeping on your floor, on your doorstep. We keep getting asked this one question. Nobody's answered it. I know you guys have not worked on it because you got your hands full. Where
Hello, everyone.
do
Can you hear me?
the car campers go? I'm stumped on that one. Where do the car campers go? There's people out there that are really homeless, have nothing but their car. They don't have a place to go. I tell them to go to a city lot and just move every couple of lots.
Hello?
Okay, but that's not an official answer. The ones that are on drugs, they shouldn't be there. And you need to get on that one end of town, all those parks, car campers everywhere. Put some signs up, like you did at Riverside, to keep those people safe in that area.
We want the safety of the city.
I know you're doing your best, but it's gotta be better.
It's going to the roof. I drive
Thanks,
Uber
Tom.
at night at 2 in the morning, one of 5, 6, 10.
Okay, you're gonna have to bear with me here. This one says name, 1822 West Harbeck. Anybody claiming 1822 West Harbeck wants to talk about the homeless? Okay, sorry about that. Brenda Merlin. Brenda from Merlin, sorry.
Origin, thank you. My name is Brenda Sisson, and I live in Merlin, Oregon. I'm county. And I'm going to speak on the filth of the Grants Pass condition again. The city street signs are fading out, and you can't hardly read them anymore. The curbs of the yellow caution areas, or no parking, or not caution, there would be the yellow parts, are faded, and you don't even see them anymore. The sidewalks are becoming moss-ridden, and they're going to be covered, and they're filthy, and they're becoming green with grime. And all of the, not all, but most of the canopies this spring is coming up with live fruitation on top of it. They're covered with scum.
All those parks,
I don't see any activities or anything from the council that's taking this seriously. How can we take pride in our Grants Pass city, town, if it's not going to be clean? How are we going to talk about the homeless people being filthy in contrast to where we as a city is filthy? You have to have the contrast between the two. You look over here at these gentlemen, they are pristine. They're clean, they're respectable, and they are the representation of what our city should look like. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you. My name is Brenda.
All right, Chris Kirby,
I'm county. And I'm going to speak on the filth of the...
come on up to the podium and restate your name, and you got 2 minutes.
City street signs are fading out, and you can't hardly read them.
Hold on one second. Somebody's listening to something in the audience, and I can kind of hear it. Can you? It is?
Mayor, for some reason, the police scanner is coming over.
Okay, I apologize to you guys, audience. I didn't mean to point fingers.
So we're trying to figure out what's going on. We're not
So
sure.
you guys could hear it too, so I'm not going crazy, right? Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Sorry to accuse anybody. Go right ahead. You have the floor.
Hi, I'm Chris Kirby. I've met a few of you. We're new in town. We moved here in September of last year from Santa Cruz. Pretty crazy there. The homeless people are out of control. One of the main reasons we left, and then we came up here. My father-in-law has lived here for 30 years, so we've seen what it's been like for 30 years, and something has to be done. Just has to be done. I went to Safeway the other night at 4:30. I did go downtown, which I've been warned not to go at night. 4:30 in the afternoon, I thought I was safe. Some guy followed right behind me in, talking on his phone, but I felt it was really uncomfortable, and I can usually handle myself. I raised 4 boys. I know how to handle myself. I was frightened. I got my celery. I only needed one thing. I got out of there, walked to my car. I parked right in front. It was scary. Something has got to be done. I moved to a small town thinking things were going to be great, and I know you all are tired of hearing about it, but try being a woman going to Safeway at 4:30 in the afternoon and being scared. We live in the county. We live 4 miles out of town. The people parked along the roads. It's frightening. I'm worried. I mean, I sometimes will call my husband when I leave the house and say, you know, there's a truck right down the street. Beware if somebody walks on our property. It's scary. This is not what I wanted to move to. So please, I know we're all concerned, but something has to be done. Enough of this. But something has to be done. So thank you. And we do love it here. I'm happy to be here, but I want to feel safe.
Thank you. Patrick Romney?
Rooney, Rooney. Like Mickey.
Oh, excellent.
I want to talk about the injunction. I, like a lot of people here, don't understand why Grants Pass won in the Supreme Court and is now having a couple local judges tell us we didn't, and making up reasons, playing some lawfare here, it looks like, making up other reasons why supposedly what already happened at the Supreme Court, or we're going to get you on something else. Oregon House Bill 3115. We all know what that is? Whoever came up with this bill and agreed on it, they said that whatever you guys do with the homeless and the homeless situation has to be objectively reasonable. What does that mean? That could mean anything. Any judge can take the words objectively reasonable and turn it into whatever they want. That's tyranny. That's not law. That's tyranny. The ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, is the other reason that the judges, the two judges that passed the injunctions, they used the Americans with Disabilities Act. And they said that, they found 5 homeless people who were also disabled. And apparently, at least 1 or 2 of those people were highly questionable, the people that were a part of that suit. So I wonder if they could maybe find a way to avoid this based on the fact that at least 1 or 2 of the people involved were not even, they had serious problems and shouldn't even have been involved in the case to begin with. So, bottom line, the Supreme Court, must be something you can do. There must be an emergency appeal or something that can be done to the Supreme Court to say, this is their decision.
We have to stick to the 2-minute limit, so everybody can, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, Brian Wilden?
Yeah, Brian Weldon, County. Yes, the woman that just spoke here, Chris, is my neighbor on Lower River Road. We live right down the road from Lathrop Park. A week ago, Tuesday, me and her saw this white van. I'm sure you've seen it. I've sent pictures to the chief, sent pictures to the council. Has a wood pallet for a side door, no windshields, all caved in, and this guy's living in it. We called the sheriff. Sheriff came out. Another druggie in a car pulled up. I can see these drug activities a mile away, especially at out-of-town parks like Lathrop. And he was watching us, and the sheriff pulled up and put a sticker on the car, and the guy jumped out of the little car and ran down the river and hid. Sheriff looked at the little car, took some information about it, and drove away. This van sat there all week, and then I found out after calling the sheriff several times that he has 72 hours. Well, what does he do? He waits exactly 72 hours, and then he moves to Reinhardt. This van has been sitting at Reinhardt since Friday morning. I've called Grants Pass PD 3 times. Today at 1 o'clock, or at noon, it was still there. His 72 hours are up at 1 o'clock today. Bingo, the van's gone. Now, hopefully the sheriff had it, or the chief had it towed away, but I doubt it. What these people do is they move from park to park to park, and they get their free 72 hours. He has a bucket of poo sitting there by the front door of his truck. This is in Reinhardt, next to where little children play baseball. It's just this problem. We have a house, I've sent pictures to the city, 519 West D Street. The next door neighbor is so upset, she said 11 drug dealers live in the house. All the windows are plywooded up, they break in the middle of the night and they live there. Anyway, I guess I'm out of time.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time. Brock Sturgeon?
Hi, Brock Spurgeon, Grants Pass. I live by Riverside Park. I'm with Park Watch. I just wanted to talk about a certain segment of our homeless population we don't talk about a lot. Everybody's talking about crime and drugs and what we're afraid of and all that stuff. There's a lot of homeless people out there that aren't on drugs, a lot of car campers, and they don't know where to go. I have one young woman that private messaged me a couple days ago. She's a single young woman living in her car. She's tried to stay at the rest stop on I-5. She's tried to stay at some more parks. She's afraid of the camps. She doesn't know where to go. Okay, so that's something we really need to think about, is where can these people go that are in their cars that aren't drug addicts, that really deserve our help. I mean, everybody does, but these people are easy to help. I'm excited about U-Turn for Christ and what they're doing at Vine Street. I was talking to Jeremy today, and if we can get that going, he's got a place for everybody, including drug addicts, people with mental health problems, people living in their cars, right? So it's really a kind of a fix-all for us. So I really hope that you guys consider this. We got to think about everybody in town and all the different types of homelessness. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Brock. All right, Jordan.
Mayor, Council. So my name is Jordan Mortensen. I'm a Grants Pass resident for 23 years this month. So when I came into town, just make this quick, 2002, sorry. There, is that better? Thank you. Yeah. So I came into Grants Pass 2002-ish and was homeless myself for 8 years. So, you know, just sleeping on couches, tents. I slept in a guy's Volkswagen bus. And then, you know, eventually I was at the Gospel Rescue Mission for about a year. And back then we had lunch at the soup kitchen. We had dinner at the mission. That's it. So I had to claw my way out of that. You know what I mean? So it was just like I didn't really have handouts. I didn't have tents and sleeping bags. Nobody was enabling me. So I just had to figure it out and eventually, you know, got myself out of that situation. And now I'm a successful business owner here in Grants Pass and just really support the city, the chief, the police, you know, and just as I know there's a lot of people in the community that are like, you know, upset about the city council closing J Street in the first place, that the camp over there, but you know, really it was like a cesspool. It was like Southern Oregon, Somalia. So, you know, I had to go there multiple times under, you know, contractually obligated to work on some equipment there. And, you know, I had to basically had a police escort every time I went there. So, you know, it was completely filthy. You guys did the right thing. So hopefully we can find some new places for, you know, them to, you know, I support the homeless, the ones that want to get sober, the ones that want to get jobs, the ones that want to be a part of the community. I support you guys and also Park Watch. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jordan. Kat Hamilton?
Hello, my name's Kat Hamilton. The last council meeting I go home and I grab my courier and I read something that really bothered me. So a 30-year-old man who overdosed at the authorized homeless camping site on 7th Street next to the police station was revived with at least 3 doses of antidote Tuesday evening. He was transported to Asante Three Rivers Medical Center. An ADAPT integrated healthcare worker was alerted to offer addiction treatment and post-overdose counseling. After being medically released from the hospital, the man was jailed on a warrant. It was his 17th jail booking in the past year, during which time he spent about 300 days in jail for criminal trespassing, warrants, post-prison supervision, sanctions. Is there a revolving door somewhere I've missed in town? It seems like law enforcement is really trying. People will cap on them sometimes, 17 times in a year. Now, he doesn't sound like he's got a gun and is trying to shoot people, but maybe, I don't know. I didn't say anything, I read what it said in here. 17 times 300 days in a year. Can you guys do like 3 strikes and you're locked up for 6 months straight or something? This, I don't understand. And the time law enforcement has to put into this? I'm confused. Once again, I'm confused. Thank you.
Thank you. We got Catherine Mathip. Sorry if I butchered your last name. Come on up and state your name again. Correct me, please.
Catherine Mothy.
Thank you.
You're welcome, County. And I'm here because I also am afraid to go downtown. I'm 81 years old, and it's very frightening for me when I'm out alone, and I am a widow, so I have no one to depend on to call. And we need help. We've called the police, and unfortunately, we either leave a message or they say they'll be there, and 3 hours later, they may show up. I'm also very tired of hearing we're shorthanded when at a courtroom, there is the chief of police and 3 of his deputies sitting there, as well as 6 of the sheriff's deputies. If they're that shorthanded, they shouldn't be sitting around in a courtroom. They should be out there helping us. And what I'm doing is just please get us help. Please help clean up this town. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. We got Connor Kirkpatrick. Come on up, Connor, and state your name again, and you got 2 minutes.
Connor Kirkpatrick. I own a property cleanup service as well as a thrift store. I emailed all you guys my Clean Forest initiative proposal. Basically, I've been proposing to clean up at least 10 yards of trash off of public land using my own company's time and resources. I'll even cover the dump fees for at least 10 yards per month, which wasn't in my initial proposal. It doesn't have to be limited to forest land after seeing all the people here. You know, if there's a lot of trash at a park, I could go clean up all the trash from a certain park. And, you know, obviously I can't remove the homeless people, and everyone's not happy about the homeless situation, and I know that there's nothing that you guys can really do about it. But what I can do is I can go and pick up all the trash, and that at least makes it a little more uninviting to the homeless people when someone's outside in the yellow vest picking up the trash that they just left. So just an idea. The only thing that I would need from you guys is I would need to be allowed at our local dumps. I'm currently banned from the dumps because Southern Oregon Sanitation and Republic Service consider my business in competition with them. There's a franchise agreement with the city and the dumps that prohibits any other company from hauling trash for a profit. Even though what I do is completely different than what they do, I do junk, which is, you know, I'll come into your house, remove a couch, mattress, large items. I don't do weekly trash collection. But anyway, the city has the authority to enforce or amend that franchise agreement, so you guys do have the power to allow me at the dump, and we can meet in that and figure out how to do that. I also have exemption. There's a federal exemption within the franchise agreement that a nonprofit thrift store needs to be allowed to go to the dump. The Solid Waste Agency has refused to acknowledge that exemption. So there is something that the city can do by either talking to the Solid Waste Agency, talking to the dump, lifting the ban on me and my company, and then I'd be happy to use my company's resources to clean up our community.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Holly Morton.
Holly Morton. You know, it's obvious we got a frightened and frustrated community, but, you know, I will say I'm really gratified with the council right now. In the 3 months that you've been on board, you've come up with a really great idea that I think is going to be fantastic for this community. It checks off a lot of boxes. And that is a large parcel of land, somebody responsible, which is U-Turn for Christ, a proven company that's doing, you know, does a fantastic job, because number one, we all know we've got to get these people off drugs. Things are not going to get better for them until they're off drugs. So the first order of business is getting them off the streets in a safe place, safe for us, safe for them, to be able to separate the various factions, women with children, elderly people, truly disabled people, from people that are lunatics and drug addicts and dangerous to other people around them. So I'm really pleased about it. I know that there are a few things that have to be done, but thanks so much for coming up with an out-of-the-box idea. You know, because for so long we've been doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, and we just keep getting the same results. More people coming to town, more trash in the streets, more problems. So now we've got a reason for hope, and thank you very much. I know the community is really supporting this, and I just hope that you move forward with it. And if there's any way that any of us can help move this forward, please let us know, because it does give us hope that things are going to be getting better in our community.
Thank you, Holly. We got Ron Lee. Come on up.
Ron Lee, Josephine County. How are you all this evening? You know, we've heard a lot about Vine Street. Well, maybe not a lot. A lot of people know about Vine Street. It's an opportunity for an organization called Pathways to Stability, which happens to be founded by U-Turn to Christ. It is a conglomeration of a bunch of nonprofits who have been working tirelessly to get this all together. And I really wanted Julie from Path to step forward and actually take my spot. We didn't get her card in, unfortunately. She could talk more about all of the interactions with all of the nonprofits that are working really hard on making this a reality. So if Vine Street was to come into being, there would be an organization there that would run it for free from the city. So they're not looking for any money moving forward to actually run the facility. And I think that that's an opportunity that we cannot look away from. It's the solution. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ron. Pastor Kevin, come on up, and you got 2 minutes.
That's just not enough time for a pastor, but I'll try. So
please have some restraint, my friend.
I'll try. I'm Kevin Darr. I'm the executive director for U-Turn for Christ and the senior pastor for Calvary Chapel Grants Pass. And kind of like Ron said, our whole goal with the Pathways to Stability initiative, it's not about becoming rich off of the homeless grants. We've never, as an organization, have ever accepted any funding from any governmental agency. What we're trying to do is solve a community issue that we all see. And we all know that the issue, we hear all of the passion there is regarding it. And we just want to be a part of the solution. And part of that has been getting all the nonprofits together, working on the same page so that we can solve this issue. And it is solvable. We know it's solvable. And not only that, but it will eventually save money for the city in the sense of all of the resources that are taxed. I've heard several people talking about the police department, for instance, that doesn't have enough time for all of these things. Well, if we can solve the homeless issue, because we know, we are there on a daily basis, we see all the things that are coming along. I guarantee if we are allowed to be able to continue with this initiative, you will see the results in the amount of calls to the police department and the fire department. We see them at the homeless camps all the time. And so for us, all we're asking, we want to work ourselves out of a job. Basically, what we want to do is help solve the homeless issue to the point that it's not needed, that it is rare and doesn't happen very often. Then we want to get proactive to make sure those that are in danger of becoming homeless, we can get to them before they actually are out on the street. So we know that we have to be reactive to the problem that's there, but we also want to be proactive for those who are in danger of becoming homeless. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for not making me cut you off, because that would scare me. I appreciate your time. Looks like I'm going to check one more time. Okay. So the last one on the list here is going to be Jeremy.
Can I claim the Hardwick address?
You know, Good evening, my name is Jeremy Ford, Grants Pass. I had a whole speech kind of put out, but I want to touch on one thing that was said by Winston Churchill, and I'm just going to go for a free-for-all. Winston Churchill said, "To each there comes in lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing unique to them and their talents. What a tragedy finds them unprepared, unqualified for that which could have been their finest hour." And I know from speaking with all you council members and having phone calls with you, that the city is doing everything possible. I want the community to know this, that the city is doing everything in their power for this homeless issue. They are working tirelessly behind the scenes. We've all been working tirelessly behind the scenes, working with a lot of the nonprofits. We've come up with this Pathway to Stability initiative, and we truly believe that Vine Street is a perfect property to put the stabilization center in, put case management in, treatment in, and to be able to transition people out of homelessness into transitional housing into a workforce environment, a job placement environment, and then actually into permanent housing. I kind of don't want to get into it, but we're actually looking at the possibility right now of having a permanent housing solution with a piece of property where we can actually, once they go through their job placement, their case management, and their treatment, that they can move into permanent housing, which is very huge, because we know one of the reasons for a lot of homelessness right now is a lack of affordable housing. I'm very, very optimistic. I really believe that this is all going to go through. I believe that our county, our town, is going to be a beacon of light for other cities around the nation to come and say, you know what, Grants Pass got it right. That all the injunctions and the lawsuits that people want to come and take a look at us and point their fingers at, that eventually we're going to turn the tide on them, and they're going to come and say, this is what they did right here. And they're going to take what we did here, and they're going to do it elsewhere. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Jeremy. I got 1822 West Harbeck. Oh, look, like we got a winner.
You got
Chanel. 2 minutes, please.
Okay. My name's Chanel, and I'd like to say that I'm advocating for the homeless. I was once homeless here in Grants Pass, and I was thinking about it, and I've heard a lot this evening, and there has not been any suggestion for a solution. So we have Measure 110 that has tons of money for funding if it's approved with a certain criteria to help the homeless. We have All Care funding for housing. That is a lot of money. And we also have city parks like Schroeder Park that's ran by the city that could provide more secure, like the yurts, for disabled people without them having to go through a transition of having to move all of their stuff. It could be supervised by the county instead of the city, like sheriff, to regulate what's going on. We could have All Care come in and assist with mental health issues. We also have all of the different entities for drug and alcohol counseling, but there's really no reason to help anybody get sober without the mental health issue and assessment, because it's pretty much torture for somebody sober without the medical diagnosis for mental health. And also 80% of people that are incarcerated have a mental health underlying issue. So if we want to stop the crime, we need to help with a diagnosis for mental health. You guys would, if we did the city parks like Schroeder Park, there would be places for tents, and then there'd also be places for homeless people that have health issues that could go in the yurts. And then you guys have plenty of parks, not considering Riverside Park, but other different parks that we could open up since we don't have a shelter. That's all. Thank you. Oh, I have 16 seconds. I heard it beep. Anyways, it was just a suggestion, but like we have transportation for them to be picked up to go to their medical appointments with Ready Ride through All Care, and it would just be easier to be able to reach out to them, and it's not in an area that's so obvious and an inconvenience for most people. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And clarification, I believe Schroeder Park is county.
It is. Oh.
Okay, so I got Mike Pelfrey on here. I did text him, and he asked me to ask Julie to step up. So I'm going to give you the last 2 minutes, Julie, and then we're going to close out public comment at this point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pelfrey. Thank you very much. Julie Thomas, President of PATH, Partners Assisting the Homeless, representing the Pathways to Stability Stepping Stones Stabilization Center, brought forward by Jeremy and U-Turn for Christ. We have worked tirelessly alongside our community partners, public and private, to identify some of the root causes that have contributed to our homelessness, addiction, mental health, and housing, to learn what was working and not working, and to find ways to work together to make a positive impact in every way possible. In this work, we were able to find numerous gaps that were preventing us from being able to come up with long-term solutions. As we all know, this is a multifaceted problem requiring multifaceted solutions and requires all of us to work together. We've been able to fill many of those gaps over the last couple of years just by increasing communication and cooperation and collaboration, building relationships, and being able to enhance our ability to meet the needs of those who are experiencing homelessness. Together, we've advocated for so many things that have moved us one step closer, all temporary, of course. But now we have an opportunity to actually advocate for something that provide us long-term solutions, long-term sustainability. The Stepping Stone Stabilization Center can provide 24/7 site management, security, showers, laundry, pet area, meeting and office spaces for nonprofits to meet their clients, all in one location, and safe transitional housing for over 100 people. Alongside our communities and stakeholders, the stability program has capacity to move people from where they are through stabilization process, creation of a customized work plan for moving them from where they are today, specifically through continuum care and case management to get them into a more independent and sustainable circumstance. We truly believe that this is our time. With these steps, we can fill the remaining gaps that exist in our community, and not just to manage our homelessness, but to instead eradicate it. Thank you so much.
All right, that concludes our public comment. Thank you all for your participation. At this point in our agenda, we are at the consent agenda. Can I get that put up on the screen, please? Thank you. So we have a consent agenda, items A through H as shown on screen and within your packet. We have no start items tonight, so they are as is. I would be looking for council for action. Joel, please, thank you.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
And we have a second, Victoria? So a first and second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go into a roll call vote. Rob?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
Consent agenda passes. Thank you very much. We're going into matters for mayor, council, and staff. First up, I'll bring it back to council. Does any council member have anything to add tonight? Or want to address any of the public comments? Indra, then Kathleen.
Yes, I appreciate all the public comments, and thanks for stepping up. I think I agree, and I believe all councilors agree that safety is number one here, that we have unsafe people all over town. Just this morning, I confronted a couple of people near my work that were actively doing drugs right on the stairs outside my shop. So that's a common occurrence. I live at my shop, and I live in the north end of town where this Vine Street property is being discussed, which is of great concern to me. So I just want to put out there, I also think the police, before I get to that, I think there are things too, as people mentioned. I know our police work hard, and I appreciate all they do, but and they're running from call to call, I guess, but I do think that more needs to be done, and we perhaps need to work more with the county as well on this catch and release. I would like to see more funds going into another prosecutor that maybe would specifically do small petty crime in town, because that is not being prosecuted. So they are just coming in and out, and the county doesn't have money to do the jails, and so we can't put these people who are criminals with warrants in our town in jail. So I think that's a big piece of the puzzle, is actually prosecuting and making accountable these criminals. And I don't know why government works slowly. I'm learning. I don't know why we can't be progressing towards that, but I don't see any movement in that. And so I would urge our city manager and
the police, I mean, I would urge to move towards that step, and I don't know what they are, but I know people that would be glad to see that happen. I'm, you know, really believe, I thank you to the gentleman who stood up. He pulled himself out in 2003 with no handouts. And this is a big concern to me with this pie in the sky mecca of homeless that are going to go into the plan for Vine Street. I think it's great. Like, I want people to get help. I'm just throwing out my concerns to my fellow counselors too. When you put 500 people, because the goal is by the end of this year to have 500 people there, and it holds 600 to 800. This is directly from a paper I read. That's a lot of people in various stages in one area. And I think we still have the problem of people who don't want help. And we have a lot of those out there. And so what do you do with the people that don't want help? And I think we need to work with council on what we can do about that. Does the city still need to provide camping spots for them if they don't want to go in and get help anywhere? I would love to see a managed site. I would love it to be a smaller, starting at least smaller and more manageable. I think the federal dollars for sure for grants are drying up. They're going to dry up, and states are going to be in trouble. So the money is not going to flow. And so to run something like that, I'm afraid is going to be hard to come up with the money year after year. So I would have to see a business plan with financially how U-Turn for Christ is going to pay for that. It's going to be millions to support that, because you're having all in one area. And again, I am not for enabling people, and I see this as they're getting free medical, free clothes, free food, free. And who from any area in our state would not want to come here for free stuff in a giant mecca of help? And so those are my concerns. I don't want to attract, we're a small town. We're not even like Medford, who already spends a lot of money on Rogue Retreat, and they have places all over town, and their downtown is practically just ruined. And I've seen comments from Medford residents about that. And we don't have that. We don't have all of the places that Medford has where new shopping centers can go and people can go shop. So those are just my concerns with this plan. Connor, gosh, I think that's a great idea to go. And I read your information, and someone to volunteer to go out and clean up those areas, Devil's Slide, and they are pits of trash. I was astounded. So I think we need to utilize our volunteers and that are offering to do that. And if we can help them with dump fees, or being able to use the dump, I don't know why we wouldn't try to do that. And I guess I will just stop there. Thank you.
Hey, Connor, you don't have the opportunity to speak again. I apologize. If you did want to speak with one of these guys, you could try to catch him after the. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
And then one more thing, I spoke last meeting about cleaning, our downtown being a little not as clean. People are speaking about that, and I would really like to see some action by the city. What can we do to brighten up our downtown? Because it's spring, summer's coming. We want tourists and business, and we want it to look nice. So I would like to work towards that. Thank you.
Thank you, Indra. Kathleen down next.
Yeah, thanks, Clint. I think you covered it all. I agree that we have heard several weeks now that the downtown needs to be cleaned up, and we are addressing that. There is something in motion to get that going. And also, we've been hearing for the last weeks about the car campers, and that too is going to be addressed. And I would like to say to city manager that we need to maybe look at city ordinances to get more signage and to address some of the streets where most of them are parking, and I'd like to see that get on our agenda.
Yeah, if council desires, we can definitely have a workshop on that topic if that's what council would like to do.
Anybody else? Victoria and Indra afterwards?
I may have another one after this, but Indra can go and then I'll come back to it because I'm wanted to go through some emails that we had gotten this week, and one of them is about May 4th, the annual March for Life. The annual March for Life, each year our commissioners they receive a proclamation from the Board of County Commissioners, but have not thus far from the City Council. And so the Right for Life, Steve Raycraft, and the people at Right for Life would like to receive that from the city this year. And so I would like to see about, of course, to see if there was other interest with other counselors to see what we could do about writing a proclamation supporting the Right to Life March, which will happen on Sunday, May 4th. So that was one thing I wanted to say. So if we could see about doing that, that would be wonderful. And then I'll stop now, but I'm going to go back and I think I have another email. So if we could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, proclamations are always mayor's protocol, so that would be something you just make a request to the mayor and for those type of proclamations.
Okay, so I request that, Mayor.
Thank you, Victoria. I would appreciate if you could give me a formal request in the form of an email. That would be great. Thank you very much. Indra, you had some more to add?
Yes, I would be for that.
Do you want to take a breath first?
I would be for that proclamation. I just want to add that what I said, in no way do I want to diminish the work that U-Turn for Christ does, or that Julie with PATH has done, that she does. My concerns have nothing to do with, you guys really step up and do things, and all of the volunteers and nonprofits in our city. So I don't want to diminish that by my concerns. Thanks.
Thank you, Indra. Victoria, did you have one more thing, or can Joel go first? Yes. Joel, and then Seth, and then I'll bring it back to you, Victoria.
Okay, I just want to be really quick, and I just want to say what I heard that we can discuss and perhaps accomplish. In cleaning up the filth in Grants Pass, the yellow parking spaces and the moss on the sidewalks and the scum on the awnings and the trees, we need pruning. We can have a workshop on that and discuss that. Repeat offenders, I don't know what we can do there. Is a municipal court, how you fund it, what effect does that have? I know Ashland has a municipal court. It affects all of us, and what you said here was true. Cleaning up the forest and the city, just hats off to what you're doing. And then I heard one person say, if you keep doing the same thing over and expect different results, and I think we need to venture out and take some risk. And I'm not sure the risk is that great, to be honest with you. So, thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Seth?
Yeah, I did want to touch on the downtown cleanup. I will bring this up on Monday again to our board of directors for Main Street Grants Pass. I already have talked to them about it, so it's on the forefront of everyone's mind. And obviously we have a budget of $0 right now, so we're doing what we can. But it is definitely something that we want to help coordinate. And as we get more downtown businesses showing up to some of our meetings, hopefully we can coordinate that and bring it to the forefront, and also, work with the city staff to to help clean up downtown. So I've heard every comment you've made at every meeting, and I totally agree. And then, beyond that, just want to thank Pastor Kevin, Jeremy, Julie, and Ron Lee for the last couple meetings I've had. It's been insightful.
Thanks, Steph. So to bring that back to Kathleen, I would basically put that, because you're going to be involved in the next agenda setting meeting, put that on a topic to bring up. You already have Seth's support, so you just need to get another counselor, and then we can put that on. You got Victoria, so you will make a note to bring that up for the agenda setting, and we'll put it in the schedule. Anybody else before I let Victoria have it? Eric, go ahead.
All right, so the big problem that I see here is that we don't have the drug treatment for a lot of the individuals that are homeless. That's a big problem for us. It's costing the city a lot, especially in light of the injunction that we have had. It's going to cost the city $300,000 per year per camp, and they want us to put 2 more, a total of 4. I don't know where that money's coming from, but it's going to be a great expense. There's only a few things that the city should have to run, and not these additional things that are being forced on us. Employees, fire, police, water, sewage treatment, and public transportation. Just want to put that out there. But I've yet to see anything that came out of the ruling that said anything about having to deal with the big problem at hand. We have to have different. We have to put these people, a lot of these poor individuals, into different categories and figure out which ones are the drug addicts, which ones are actually homeless, which ones are the ones that are having mental problems. But until we tackle this drug problem, which is the majority of these individuals have drug problems, and they're not going to want to get off the drugs if we keep on enabling them. And that's exactly what's happening with these homeless camps. So I understand what a lot of the individuals that came up to the podium and talked about. It is very disheartening. It's very angering to me that none of that was even considered. So moving forward, we have to find something that's going to work. And I think that the U-Turn for Christ, I don't know exactly where that property is going to go yet, but I think this is a great program from what I've read into so far. That being said, that is the big elephant in the room, this injunction. And now we have to sit here and deal with it because it was not, I'm just going to leave it there.
Thank you, Eric, for your compassion. I'm glad you stuck to everything. I was like, well, let's. I'm so glad that you stuck to the topic and you put your heart out there. That's amazing. I love that. Anybody else? Anybody? I'm just teasing. Victoria, you're up. Thank you.
The other email that I wanted to address is that, just to remind counselors that they are invited, all counselors are invited tomorrow to are invited to the steering committee meeting for Pathways tomorrow, Pathways to Success. I think I just said the wrong name, but I think I've got the wrong thing on this email. Sorry about that. But I won't give out, it's in your email, so I just kind of wanted to remind people about that. And I wanted, though, to ask if I could, because we have him here, I wanted to ask Jeremy a question about the Treatment First initiative, if I could have him come up and just give us a minute on the Treatment First initiative.
I do apologize, that's not the right time for it.
Oh.
So this is our time to air out some grievances and for you guys to address it. We don't
Sorry,
have the
Jeremy.
ability or bandwidth to do a little more back and forth. I apologize for that. We can get some more information from him. We can distribute it to the council as you need. Rick.
I want to say tonight we had a large number of people applying for the Bikeways and Walkways Committee that were qualified candidates. And it's really nice to see people that have that expertise and that background. And I hope they won't give up just because they weren't selected tonight. Try other committees or just stick it out and hope an opening happens and they will be able to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Anybody else? Perfect. Hey, I'll say a couple words here. I appreciate the audience's support here, for you guys to come out and participate with us. It is truly, your voices are truly heard. We appreciate you guys' all your involvement. We got a number of people in this audience that are deeply, deeply, passionately involved with our city and our parks, and we appreciate all that you do. I do want to give a shout out to Jordan, an amazing individual. A success story. And just to tout, his company basically builds those little trailers out there with the security cameras on them, and he is a success story, and I just want to commend him for coming out here. He had some reservations in speaking to you, but great individual and a success story. Thank you. And I'm going to bring it back to staff. Do we have anything that you guys want to address?
Just staff's looking forward to working with council on developing that strategic plan. We have the strategic plan workbook, which is due this Friday, and looking forward to your comments so we can put that together and have a successful workshop.
Anybody else?
Just briefly, I've been communicating with Representative Yunker this evening. One of our water line projects has been included in House Bill 3939. I will be getting some information to all of you and hopefully asking you guys to submit testimony online in OLS to help keep that bill moving forward. That would be incredibly beneficial if we were able to receive some dollars from the state to help fund that project. So I'll get information to you as soon as I possibly can.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason. And I would make sure council, you guys keep your eyes open for that, and then I'll encourage you to keep on them too. Thank you. Because that'll be beneficial to us all. Any other staff member? No, all right. Well, thank you very much. At this point, excuse me. Again, thank you very much, everybody, audience coming. At this point, the council meeting, we will now go into executive session, so I'm going to have to ask all the audience to leave. Thank you for your participation tonight. Hopefully, you guys do understand that your voices were heard. The council will now meet in executive session for the purpose of discussing those subjects previously noticed for this executive